Alan Hurt, welcome back. Here you are.
Howdy.
Howdy. Well, I guess the interview portion of these radio shows are meant for our listening audience to find out more about you, not only as a songwriter, but as a person. So, to start out, even though I know, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background, where you grew up, all that?
Okay, well, I'm originally from Sherman, Texas, the border of Texas and Oklahoma, very top center of Texas. And I got the start playing as a child singer during a vocal contest for children when I was 5 years old. And my mother and father liked to travel quite a bit, just him and her and me in the back seat, you know. And they'd go to places in the Hot Springs, Fayetteville, Eureka, you know, and Kansas, lots of different places. And they loved Branson quite a bit. And they took in shows. And Branson has a theme park called Silver Dollar City. And we were there. I remember it was early morning. They had a huge gazebo in the middle of the park. And they were having another contest, vocal contest for children. And my mother made me go up there and sing Patsy Cline songs.
But that's okay because your register's high.
Yeah, that's trying to stay there. Hopefully it will. But we had a box type, I guess before boom boxes came out in the 80s. This was an 8-track player. And she had 3 plastic 8-tracks. One was a Waylon Jennings, one was a Patsy Cline, and one that was orange colored was a Amos and Andy comedy 8-track. And as long as I didn't bother her or tear nothing up in the house, I could sit there and poke them in there and listen to it. And the Patsy Cline one I listened to countless hours, and I started to mimic her, you know, identically like her. And I don't know, a few months after doing it, I imagine I had sweet dreams. I was doing it and holding those notes and reverberations and all that, you know. And both of them were standing in the doorway behind me watching them. And I turned around. It was very embarrassing. I was just a little one. And he said, "Baby, we need to get him in one of those contests." And I said, "I don't need to do that." He said, "You will, if your mama says so." So that's what happened at the theme park. And the producers for a television show were on hand for other things. And they heard me singing and talked to my dad. And again, volunteered me to make an appearance on the Porter Wagner show. So
Yes.
Woo-hoo.
So tell us a little bit more about Porter Wagner and your stint with him.
Well, he became good friends with the family and myself, and he became a second dad, although we were not related, you know. He made sure I got to play when there was an opportunity and participate when they had tapings at Opryland USA and other shows abroad across the country. And my mom and dad would put me in the back seat and drive me to them. My dad died in 1980, and my mom had a hard time with it. And 2 weeks after we buried him, our house burned down.
Oh, jeez.
2 weeks after. But, you know, like you said, everything is written. It's supposed to happen for a reason. And he's told me that every day, every time something happens to, and I'm believing it. Just like Lydia, you know, for a reason. So Porter said, "Well, Betty, let me bring him up here and I'll work him. You take care of yourself and get the new house and everything and go to work. I got this." He sure did.
Wow. Not many people can say that. Porter Wagner took them under their wing.
I thought I knew what chores were. Well, my mom, I guess, would slack a little bit, go, "Well, you make sure you get it done." Porter wouldn't say that. He'd say, "It needs to get done now."
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, oh man. So after years of doing that, then Ray Price came in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Ray was phenomenal. And I love Porter too, but there's Ray Price, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But he was very serious and very strict, but probably the most professional I think I've ever been around. Mm-hmm. And he groomed me, and I didn't know that's what he was doing. So when he was hard, he was grooming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of glad.
So who taught you guitar?
My mom.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
My mom worked as an LVN for a lot of years, and then she was also a hospital administrator where she worked. And there was a blind man at one of the nursing homes, and he was as kind as could be. And he played his guitar, and he just looked ahead, never could see. You just heard and felt things, you know. She told him while she was at work one day, and she said, "John, I sure wish I could teach Alan how to play." She said, "Well, Betty, bring him up here, and I'll teach him how." Well, instead, he taught her how to play 3 chords on a shift she was working.
Oh, wow.
She went and got a guitar and came back the next morning, 7 a.m. when she got off. She said, "Get up, we're going to learn this."
Oh, wow.
Huh? Sit down there and watch me. So D, A, and G. Over and over. Now do it. Put your fingers on it. She wore me out. And when I was little, that guitar was as big as the whole room, you know. I had to get a ladder to see over it. See if I was
Right, yeah.
But that's the neatest part about it is I took those and I built on them. And then she took me up there later, and I said, and he scared me to death. I said, "Mama, he can't see, he's blind." "Wow. Then I can act any way I want." "No, you can't." Because you can't see don't mean you're not acting. So anyway, he taught me more, and then I just kept right on going. So she was the inspiration. She wanted that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And when did you start writing songs?
1978.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't amount to much, but they really did in a way. I didn't realize that I had any skill at writing, because to me, you know, you are your worst critic, and I was.
Always.
But back then, when I was putting things together, I had seen patterns and structures on papers in front of me, and I didn't realize that I was putting them structured and in patterns and in rhymes as a young person,
Mm-hmm.
the way the adult songwriters were already doing it. And Porter started letting Chet Atkins and people look at that, and they go, "Look." And, well, they started tweaking me, and they said, "Look."
Yeah.
So he started taking me to RCA Records 3 days a week. And they had an A, B, and C studio, and they're pretty big. And RCA Nashville has people coming through there like the Grand Central Station.
Mm-hmm.
Gene Watson and just every major artist that you ever knew. Jeannie C. Riley used to sit with me and, you know, tweak stuff once in a while. And she said, "I don't even need to tell you nothing." I said, "Well, good, don't do it."
You know, you were probably there for the entertainment, I'm sure. Kind of get that feeling.
But that's another thing. Chet Atkins was the president of RCA. And the wingman that didn't work there but was there all the time, that had no life, I guess, was Jerry Reed. And so those two idiots were, you know, daily. So when my 3 days come up, they were like, "Come over here, come over here." So I learned things. They'd say, let me show you something. You know, I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. But those things stuck. And years later, here I am. I'm doing it still, you know.
Right.
So.
Well, being raised in that environment, most songwriters can't say the same, that they were, you know, experienced what you did. I mean, you really had a lift up for sure, you know, being around that. I can see why this is who you are and this is what you do, and I'm sure that you can't imagine doing anything else.
No, not now, no.
No.
No. There was a time recently, in the last year or so, hard times, open heart, deaths
Mm-hmm.
of mother and a bunch of things. And
oh, yeah.
Lita and I have, we've really built us as a couple because of those hard times.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much, probably just like all these others, and just like Gene and Sue and everybody has. And I'm liking that.
Yeah.
Because when I started out, even the guys are like, oh, the Eagles love her. We had 3 people come open and play. I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. Glenn Fry. What was the other one? Jim.
Timothy B. Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, what was that other crazy one that loves her so much?
Yeah, Joe Walsh.
He kept teasing. He said, "I'm going to come to one of the shows. I'm going to come up there." It was at the Sons of Herman Hall.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
But you wouldn't have thought that, see? And so I was on the bus down below, and my drummer, Larry, came down. He said, "You need to come upstairs. You need to come upstairs." I said, "No, I'm going to rest before the show." He said, "Alan, it's about Lydia." I said, "What did she do?" "Nothing." "But you need to come up there now." I said, "Okay, I'm going to see what this is all about." Anyway, I get up there, and it's a huddle of hippies. It was a HH, a huddle of hippies. And it looked like 4 or 5 Randy Treadways all in it. And I get up there, and Larry he said, "It's all yours." And this little one was right between them all, and they looked like they was getting ready to make a game play. "All right, when we go back out, I got the ball." Okay. But Joe turned around, he said, "Well, I never would have guessed that you, of all people, first would ever get married, or even know how.
Uh-huh.
And 2, how in hell would you ever get married to someone so beautiful?" I said, "Well, I just did it." He said, we don't know how you did it." I'm like, he hugged her and he said, "I like this one.
Aww.
She's my new friend." Anyway, the rest of the night, they didn't even see me. Didn't even hear my voice. Didn't even know I existed anymore. Because Lydia stole them away. And now she brags about it even when I don't bring it up. She says, "Joe Walsh is my friend." How wonderful. But I'm glad she gets to experience
That's
some of
awesome.
that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry it had to be them, dear.
No. Speaking of your current band that you've put back together, you used to be the Mountain Showman. Now you're the Alan Hurt and the Music Showman. Mm-hmm. Tell us about we know Mike, of course. We met him today.
Me too.
Yeah. Who else do you have in your band?
Well, Philip Parent is his last name.
And what does he play?
He plays bass.
Mm-hmm.
And he's awesome. Totally awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And Matthew Solano is his last name. Plays our drums, and him on lead and me rhythm and main vocal. He sings our backup vocals at concerts, and he's really good.
Yeah.
And it's like the song of mine, long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time coming. But
yeah.
I quit, and some of our friends here tonight, including y'all, didn't want me to quit, but it's easy.
Yeah, I think I remember when Randy called you up because Greg Whitfield and Ken Gaines were having a Christmas show here. And Greg had to have emergency back surgery and couldn't make it. And Randy called you up, and you were all mopey and saying, "I'm not going to play anymore." And Randy...
We put a stop to that.
Yeah. Randy's like, "Well, you're going to play on such and such day, so be here at such and such time." And he's like, but, and Randy said, "No buts, be here." So that, I feel like we were a little responsible for pulling you out of your pity party and coming back.
And I will say this, too, that evening that when Alan came in, you don't sit in for Greg Whitfield. So, I mean, when you take a guitar player like him out of the room, you don't sit in for him. He exchanged for him, and we had with Alan and Ken. Of course, Alan just totally attacked Ken.
It was the funniest show you'll ever hear.
I warned Ken, but he didn't take me seriously till after the show. The next year, Ken was ready for Alan.
He really was.
and Alan and Greg and Ken did our Christmas show every year from then on out until COVID.
Yep.
So, thank you guys for that. You took us through a lot of our history.
You did. You did. And just so you know, you were number show 17 for us here in the music room. You were show number 47, and today is show 364.
Wow.
So you are making history with us.
We've really done that many, huh? Wow.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
That is cool.
Yeah.
Because I never thought Randy would last this long.
He's got a young wife, remember?
Well, I was talking about the laws, running him out of town.
Oh. Okay, not death. Okay, gotcha.
I don't want him to die, but I just was thinking about the laws.
I want to open up right now to the audience, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask Alan. If you want to know, go ahead and ask.
But be very kind in your questions.
You don't have to be kind.
Be very kind in your questions.
Anybody?
For the wrong question, may do.
Lloyd?
Alan, on your bio that I read last night, just going over your accomplishments and everything, and stated that you'd written over 1,500 songs, and I'm sure that's a whole lot more now. But one of the groups that was in your bio was Three Dog Night.
Yeah.
And how did you get involved with them?
My manager Connie thought that it'd be interesting to get me out of the normal circle that I would run in and function in the country circle, and she wanted me to start listening to blues and listening to other kinds of music, getting some feel for it, and witnessing up front what showmanship outside of the country world is really like. And I have to say that Corey and all of them they opened my eyes. I thought I knew what showmanship was till I opened for Three Dog Night, and those guys changed my mind.
Unfortunately, there's only 2 dogs left.
I know. We lost Corey a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Billy Bob's actually.
Oh, okay.
And my drummer, he loves to do that. So now I have to go in, and there must be something going on. He said, "Come inside. You need to." So I didn't do it. My bus driver Kent come and got me, and he says, "Get off this bus and get inside while they're doing sound check. I want you to see this." And I said, "I don't want to have nothing to do with anybody that has dog in their title." So I went in there, and of course, there's nobody out there except the sound people and them, and they were doing Mama Told Me Not to Come and One Is the Loneliness.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Come out front and listen to this." So I sat there while they did their sound check, and all that music coming into play, and then finally taking the mics and singing. I thought, wow. And they were older, and they've been doing it. At that time they had just celebrated their 50th anniversary. Wow. 50.
Wow.
And I thought, oh no, are they really that good? He said,
Yeah.
And Kent says, "Well, I'm old, but I can't. They can sing. That's what's real." Then Marshall Tucker Band came into play. She did that to me too. And I said, "Oh my goodness, bunch of hippies." But see, I'd already known Randy all these years, so I should have been used to that.
Well,
I'm being really kind to you this afternoon.
I know.
they were very amenable to whatever the situation was. I had a chance a long time ago to be involved with a festival that it featured one of the Three Dog Night as the opening act.
Oh.
And so, yeah, I'm familiar with the guys. They're really good.
Yeah, they are. And I'll jump at the chance to do it again.
Yeah.
Just not anything to do with Joe Walsh.
Alan, I got to stop for a minute because Alan and I used to, when he lived down here, occasionally we would go out and do things like birthday parties for people. And I remember we did one at a place that doesn't exist anymore, a hamburger joint that we did a birthday party, and the place was me and you and
Jim Nitschke.
Me and you and James Marvin Nitschke.
Wow.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah, I miss him.
Alan called me, last week, and he said, can we do one of those birthday party type things again? I'll leave it there.
I know.
We've all had good times, and we're just going to keep on continuing to have more. And you're going to continue to write, and you're going to continue to bring music back to our place, and everybody loves you.
Oh.
And you will be here in 24. Yep. You will be here.
2024.
I'll be here.
Yes, you will.
I'm sure he's already told Lydia, and she always makes sure it happened.
Yeah. Got to have somebody backing you up, right?
Yeah.
Well, Alan, again, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for being here. And we love you, and we miss you being in Arkansas, but you're doing well there, and, that's all we can ask for, right?
Then there's money.
Well, there's money, of course. Of course, there's money.
I really like that. Don't you like that? I like that.
Makes
But-
the world go round.
That's right.
Green goes with everything.
Anyhow,
Thank you.
thank you, and thank you to our audience, Randy, Reno, Bruce, Barbara, Jean, all the staff. You are in the music room.
I was.